Good evening, traveler. You've wandered into myth-taken dreams, a place where timelines tangle, truths wobble, and bedtime stories rewrite history just enough to make it magical. Each tale unfolds from a library that never existed, where historians whisper with poets and facts arrive fashionably late. Tonight, we unspool another tale from the flickering archive because bedtime deserves a version of history that knows how to lie charmingly. So fluff your pillow, turn down the logic, and lean into the lore. Once upon a time, in the beginning, but not the beginning, because you can't really have that when there's no time. There was nothing. It wasn't a dark nothing, or a quiet nothing, or a boring nothing. It was a very busy, very full, very not empty nothing, buzzing and crackling with energy, like a kettle that's been forgotten on the stove and is about to spill over, but no one's noticed because there's no one around. Not even a kettle. Now, this nothing didn't have much in the way of rules. You know, like how gravity says, "Hey, stay on the ground, you," or how ice cream says, "Yes, of course I'm going to melt if you leave me in the sun." No rules, no directions, no nothing. It was like a big soup of potential with all the ingredients swirling around in there, but they were all waiting for the universe's version of the go whistle. And then, one day, the kettle boiled over. There was a bang, a pop, a crash, if you could hear anything, which you couldn't, but just imagine an explosion so huge it made the word explosion feel like a tiny sneeze. Imagine that. From that epic detonation came space, time, energy, particles, and, eventually, things that gave people allergies. Everything spread out like jam on toast, though the toast didn't exist yet, and the jam had quantum properties. Galaxies started forming, stars lit up like cosmic chandeliers, and planets spun into existence like they were auditioning for a dance competition. One of those planets, a particularly eccentric one called Earth, eventually got quite good at inventing things like dinosaurs, cheese, and banjos. Everything started spreading out, faster than a wizard's hat when he realizes there's no magic left in it. Stars, planets, and galaxies that would take billions of years to even form were suddenly, well, there. There was light and heat and matter and antimatter, and everything was having a bit of a crisis. It was like someone had just given a giant group of children a packet of glitter and told them to scatter it around. Only, in this case, the glitter was the entire universe. And that is how we got stuff. Planets, stars, and all those funny little things like black holes, supernova, and galaxies that look like someone put all the cosmic candy in a swirl. It was a bit messy at first, and no one had figured out how to cook the universe properly, but eventually it all settled down, sort of. Some of the bits cooled off, some kept heating up, and some decided they were going to form themselves into giant rocks that could talk if you gave them enough time, also known as humans. It's not to say that everything got perfect immediately. I mean, stars were still bursting, black holes were still doing their black hole thing, which involves a lot of gulping, and the planets were having a good old time bumping into each other. But, given enough time, enough dust, and the occasional good decision about whether or not to cook at 175 degrees C or 200 degrees C, the universe started to get itself together. And that is how the universe came to be, with a big bang. A really, really big bang. Which, as it turned out, was not the end but the beginning, and isn't that just typical? If you ask me, the universe still hasn't quite figured out the rules of this whole thing, but that's the charm of it, isn't it? A little chaos, a little wonder, and the occasional explosion. Just the way any good fairy tale should end.